here having lost 9 straight to us, only winning 1 of 22 games. What kind of a position does that put them in trying to come in here and win a match tonight?
Well, it puts them in, in my opinion, an easy position because they have nothing to lose. And you know Wisconsin came in here last year and they took a game off of us with our first team in there last year, and that was their only game they won in the conference last year, and of all places here at IPFW. I think they just came off a 5-game match with Ohio State where they lost in 5 games, a tough match. You know Ohio State's a good team. So I think their chances are pretty long, they're a long shot tonight, but they could do some damage, and who knows, you know, if the moon's full, they might even pull off an upset.
Well, they bring Dan Snopko in, an ex-IPFW player. You know, what kind of emotions are going through his mind right now, going back to IPFW after playing for a year or 2 with the Volleyball and coming in here now with a different team? Well,
I talked with Dan before the game, and we were just kidding around and everything. Last year, I think he was a little bit more nervous because it was his first year back after transferring. But this year he's I think he's a lot more settled down. I talked with his parents. They're sitting over there in the crowd, and his sister, and they seem really relaxed. And so it's more like, you know, he belongs on that team now, and he feels more at home. And he's just happy to come back here and play a good team like IPFW.
Well, let's talk about IPFW. They came off of a big win against Ball State last Saturday night, first match of the year. They had played 3 exhibitions down in Puerto Rico. Had played real well. They went 4 with Ball State, but that win was a big one. Now going to the Asian tournament out in California. What are they going to be like tonight?
I know in the past when I played, sometimes in certain matches we were up more than others. We try to keep consistent though in other matches. And this is one of those matches where they're going to have to really concentrate on staying consistent and not letting their level come down. And I think they'll be capable of doing that. If they don't, they're going to have some problems with Milwaukee though.
Well, stay tuned here for this big MIVA match, and we'll be back shortly to bring you the live action of tonight's match.
Turn to find help for an elderly person you love. Call the Elder Care Locator at 1-800-677.
How can you find out when lightning may strike? And how do you count the fish in the sea? How can you tell if a child is growing normally, if baseball is getting better, or traffic is getting worse? How do you know about stock market trends, the risk of cholesterol, the history of witchcraft, or the future of spacecraft? With statistics, that's how. And how can you find out about statistics? With the new Statistics series, Against All Odds.
Welcome back to the Hilliard Gate Sports Center on the campus of IPFW. You just saw the first serve of the ball game by Loy Ball. He serves long. It's side out to the Panthers of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. Back to serve for Milwaukee's number 4, Joe Lynch, a senior out of Wauwatosa, Wisconsin. Overpassed by IPFW, but it's not played very well by Wisconsin-Milwaukee. And who got that kill?
Peter Kujak. Peter Kujak, number 11.
Peter Kujak got the kill.
Start of this match looks like the start of the last match against Ball State. Kind of sloppy. It's early in the season. You're going to see a lot of that from a lot of teams around the country. Going to be a lot of sloppy play at the start.
Kill by number 12, Dan Snapko.
Snapper with the kill off the block.
Side out to Milwaukee, number 8, Bob Erlenbach.
For a tall kid, he's really good at using the block. Not a lot of tall kids do that. They're usually very powerful, but Dan's a good finesse hitter.
And Wisconsin-Milwaukee scores the first point, goes up 1-0.
Set was a little tight by Loy. Quentin had to really reach for it, and the block was right on top. Whenever you get a tight set, it's very hard to get a kill out of it.
Doesn't look like IPFW is really getting into a comfortable passing mode right now.
Yeah, they Norman had a few problems with a few of the balls, and that's what caused Loy's set to be tight that last time. But Norman's a great passer, and he'll get it together.
That kill attempt's long by Raul Papaleo. Another point to Wisconsin-Milwaukee.
Wow. Felipe stuck that one, but he's dug up. There's the man right there.
Raul with the kill.
You can't stop him. When he's on, there's no one in the country that can stop him.
And he wasn't on the other night against Ball State. Not
at all. Not for Raul. That wasn't even close. But it was the first match of the year, and not really anybody on the team played to their potential.
Good quick set to Dan Snapko. Dan looks like he's emotionally ready to play. Side out to Wisconsin-Milwaukee.
He's always ready to play against his former teammates. I talked to him before the match, and he was keyed up for that.
Mark Caratu back to serve for the Panthers.
Right in, that was in by a foot. It wasn't even close. The Wisconsin players were asking for an out call, but it wasn't even close. You know, Wisconsin has another former IPFW person, in Eric Zvers, their middle blocker. I think he's number 11. Let me check here. Yeah, he's number 11 for Milwaukee.
Poor pass and poor set creates a hitting error. Point for IPFW, 2-1. Quentin Spiegel back to serve for the Volleyball.
But Eric never actually made the team while he was here. He was a redshirt, and then he had to transfer. Milwaukee has been doing well there. He just spiked the ball off of Peter Kujak's hands. Peter wasn't over fast enough. When you're a middle blocker, you really have to get up quick, keep your hands high, and get them over the net fast if you're going to block balls. If you're a split second late, you're always going to get tooled like that.
Dan Snapko.
Oh, he blocked the set, yeah.
Good call by Patty Salvatore, the up official. Bob Michael down on the floor, side out to IPFW. Peter Kujak back to serve.
You're never allowed to reach over the net and block the setter set. And someone as tall as Lloyd, he's going to get a lot of calls like that because people are going to reach over and touch his hands.
Again, Zevers with the quick set.
You see that play run a lot in the women's game. It's a back slide where the player goes off of 1 foot. You don't see a lot with the guys, but it can be very effective if used the right way. And Eric Zvers just showed that right there.
Well, we've talked about that in some of our women's broadcasts. It tends to be a pretty predictable play and a long time getting set up. So if IPFW starts recognizing that, they get out there easily for the double block.
Yeah. And Norman's such a great blocker. He sees that he'll get up in a split second and clamp that. So if they keep running that all night, I'm sure IPFW will adjust and take care of it.
Almodovar would serve.
There goes Snapko again using that block. He's good at that. And for someone his tall, he doesn't jump very high, but he's a very effective player because he knows how to use people's hands.
Eric Zevers back to serve for the Panthers.
All that was created by a bad pass by Raul.
But Papaleo up for the block.
But he gets back and makes up for it with that block. It was a pretty good serve by Zverev. I mean, Raul's the best passer in the country, in my opinion. A lot of people may disagree with me, but a lot of people will also agree with me on that. And when he makes a bad pass, it's a very rare event. Wow, that was
snapped across court.
Tremendous shot by Dan from the back row, nonetheless.
Joe Lynch back to serve for the Panthers.
That's the advantage of having a 6'10" setter. You can jump up and get those high passes. And if Milwaukee made a pass like that, the ball comes over net, and we spike it right back down their throat. With our team, Lloyd can get up and set those balls and save.
And that combination there with Raul coming out behind Pepa, got to be tough to block.
There goes Snapko using that block game. Quinn's got to get a little bit further outside and take care of him. And like I said, IPFW is good at adjusting. As the night goes on, they'll take care of that later on.
Right now, Dan's playing real emotionally high.
Yeah, definitely. And emotion can do a lot for you. It certainly did a lot for me when I played. And right now, Dan's really on a roll.
Side out to IPFW. Papaleo back to serve. 2-1 here, early in game number 1. Nice back row attack by Zevers, but it's dug.
Yeah, Eric's improved his hitting a lot since he's been here at IPFW. That ball's out of bounds. I didn't see a touch.
Nope, point IPFW ball. Good. 2-2.
That was a tremendous cutback shot by Dan. He's really improved that shot. I know he's worked on it.
Here you see a replay of that.
Comes back.
Cross court, but it's just wide. Served by Papaleo's wide, side out to the Panthers. Number 14, Mark Caratu back to serve.
Caratu's a good player. He's one of their big guns. You know, you hear a lot about Snopko, but Caratu's one of their big men that they go to other than Snopko, if not their biggest man. IPFW, Raul and Loy, both have had a service error so far, and you know, they've really got to get their serving together. It looked out to me. The line judge called it in. Patty overruled it and called it out.
I think that's
a third service error.
I think that's a wise choice on Coach Ball's part if he's calling the serves, and I think he is right now to change it up a little bit because, as you mentioned, they've made a couple service errors.
Oh yeah.
And if they get a couple of those jump serves in, take the aggressiveness away from the Panthers. And there you saw a dump by Loy for a side out. Peter Kuyak with the serve. IPFW in the net. Volleyball in the net.
You know, if IPFW serves like this next week, they are going to have a lot of problems with the likes of Penn State and Long Beach. They really have got to get their serving together.
Well, I was going to ask you, Neil, when you come into this gym, and we saw a lot of service errors last week by both teams, does the openness of the gym make a difference? The open front doors, the open door, you know, do you pick up breezes and stuff?
I've never really had a major problem with that. I felt drafts down there, but when you're out on the court, you don't think much about the draft, and it certainly never affected my serve in any way. When it's in the winter, before it gets to the spring, these back doors over here, over where the fans come in, when they come in, the winter air comes in, it makes it kind of cold, but that's about it.
There you saw a back row attack by Norman Amaldivaro for the point. IPFW's first lead in the match, 3-2.
Norman has been on the weights really hard this past summer, and he came back solid as a rock, and his hitting is so much harder now. Not that it wasn't hard before, but
overpass kill attempts dug.
Some of these guys on the receiving end of his spikes are going to have a lot of problems.
Snopko through the block, side out to the Panthers.
You mentioned earlier Coach Ball was mixing up the serves. Coach Ball likes to do that. It makes it very hard for the other team's passers when you have several jump servers and several servers serving from the ground.
Norman appears to have gotten over his first game jitters. He's playing very, very well, passing the ball well, other than that very first pass of the game. But there you saw, well, as I mentioned, he overpassed it.
Nice set by Loy. It's real deceiving. Loy has a really deceiving set. It's hard to really read where he's going to go. If you play with him in practice, I could sometimes guess where he's going to go from his tendencies, but not by looking at his hands. He's really deceiving. He hides the ball well. There's that play again. And it's working well for them. They obviously practiced that a lot.
Right now, though, neither team is able to pick up on the inconsistency of the other team. And we have a 3-3 tie here.
They're going to really have to watch Caratu, because if Caratu gets hot, I mean, this Milwaukee team, I can just tell from these few minutes watching them, they're a much better team than they were last year, and they're definitely capable of winning another game off us this year.
Well, and you mentioned in the pregame that they won 5 games with Ohio State, and Ohio State may be down a little bit this year, but still Ohio State has quite a tradition, and to go over to Ohio State and take them 5 is a pretty big plus in Milwaukee's hat, I think.
That's the key there. Peter Kujak with the kill there. IPFW plays really well at home, and all teams play well at home. And for Wisconsin to go to Ohio State and almost pick them off on their home court shows that they're a good team this year, just like you said. Home court advantage means a lot. It was a nice dig by Quentin. Way to get off the net.
Nice back set by Loy. Very difficult play.
Squirrel had a really good kill off the block there. He used the hands well. I'm going to refer to him as Squirrel tonight, so that's his nickname that I'm used to calling him by. So if you hear me refer to Squirrel, it's number 7. Ball spiked out of bounds, no touch.
Kill attempt by Lyon is wide.
Squirrel is an awesome blocker. If we could ever get a close-up on him on the net, penetrating over net, he jumps, his chest is at net height, and he reaches over, which makes him a very tremendous blocker.
Roundhouse kill by Spiegel. 6-3 IPFW.
IPFW has a monstrous blocking team on the court. They could be the best blocking team in the country. Roll has the best technique blocking of anybody I've ever seen, and Loy is just a tremendous blocker because he's so big, and Quentin has really long arms. So those 3, along with Norman, who just really likes to reach over and clamp people.
College Cable Access Program Guide provides information about our programming, including IPFW sports telecast. To receive your free Channel 6 program guide, send your name, address, and zip code to College Cable Access Center at IPFW, 2101 Coliseum Boulevard East, Fort Wayne, Indiana, 46805-1499, or call us at 481-6582. You talked about Wisconsin-Milwaukee having a lot of potential. I've got to believe that program in itself has a lot of potential. Coming out of a community the size of Milwaukee, the volleyball played in the area, the potential that they have recruiting out of the Chicago all the way, that belt all the way from Chicago to Milwaukee ought to just be a really strong volleyball area. And I got to believe that as they evolve like we have in the past, they're going to have a good program.
They have a really big advantage in that in Wisconsin, high school volleyball is probably the best outside of California, probably being the best. New York and Pennsylvania probably be tied for second, and then Wisconsin. And they have all those homegrown players right there who a lot of them probably don't want to go that far away from home, so there's a good chance they'll go to Milwaukee. And that'll make their team better in the years. Nice run down by Milwaukee. Can they get it over? Yeah, they got it.
Both teams played well there.
Squirrel. Wow.
Spiegel almost straight down. Both teams played very, very well there, Neil.
Squirrel pounded that one.
8-3 IPFW. Papaleo continues to serve.
Oh, look at Norman's penetration there. That was a great block. He just needed to turn his hands into the court to get it in bounds. He's a little bit upset at himself, but that's all right. He'll get somebody later on just like that, except that next time we'll go in bounds.
Tear-2 serve is wide. Side out to IPFW. Quentin Spiegel back to serve.
Another thing about Milwaukee is they have a new coach.
A Ball State grad, so now all of the MIVA head coaches are Ball State grads. It's a pretty amazing statistic, I believe.
Yeah, it shows you what Shondell has done. Mike Freed, I played against him when I was a freshman when I played for East Stroudsburg, and he's a tremendous player. And I know he knows a lot about the game, so he's going to definitely take their team to another level.
Point to Wisconsin-Milwaukee. Snopko serving. Back set to Spiegel.
Squirrel out of the back row. He will be lethal from the back row this year.
Shades of Fred Malcolm.
Yeah. Fred was one of the most awesome back row hitters in this country's history.
Peter Kuyak out of Galesville, Wisconsin to serve.
It's a good serve by Pete, right in the zone 1-2. That's where you want to serve the ball. Oh,
double block.
Felipe with a great finish.
Take on ball. Straight down. Point to IPFW, 9-4.
That zone on the right-hand side of the court, if you're facing the net, right in the middle of the court, which is zone 1-2 for those of you who know the zones of volleyball, 1 being the serving position, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, is the zone where you want to serve the ball. So toughest for the passer to go to his right and pass the ball there. Pete tried to serve it again. That one was a little bit inside.
Eric Wilson in during that substitution.
Local high school player here, Tiffany Gooden, runs that for Snyder, and she's pretty much unstoppable doing that. And they're running it to perfection right now. IPFW has to adjust to that and stop it. It's an easy play to stop if you're looking for it. The pineapple. Loy got that out, and we named that from the tournament in Hawaii 2 years ago in the Final Four when he got us a lot of points off of that play and named it the pineapple after Hawaii. He's awesome at doing that. It's impossible to stop him being 16. Little mix-up there between Felipe and Raul. I know how that feels.
Saw that overpass come. Looked like a big grapefruit.
Yeah, but they're all right. They're just...
Zevers back to serve for the Panthers.
Boy hitting on the outside. Raul setting. No touch.
Snot goes through the block, but the official calls it.
He called it.
Side out.
Raul, Raul was a setter 2 years ago before Lloyd came here, before Lloyd's freshman year, and that's why Coach Ball feels real comfortable putting him out there, letting Lloyd hit outside, because Lloyd's a great hitter and having Raul set.
Well, and I think that really makes you a much more diversified offense. I know that Ball in particular, they've tried to hit that first pass if it's a good pass, and it just really is an effective tool against any kind of defensive set you try to set up.
Definitely.
Ball with the jump serve long, though, side out.
There they go, missing serves. They're going to have to get that serving game together, definitely.
Papaleo with a back set.
Rolls thinking it off of somebody's head. Coach Ball likes to mix things up with the blocking. He likes to put his best blockers on their best hitters and mix things up so teams can't key on IPFW. And that's one of the reasons teams have such a hard time running their offense against us. They don't know what to expect because Coach Ball does a really good job at mixing his front line up, and you never know who's going to be where and when.
Papaleo up for the block, but it's blocked wide. Side out to the Panthers. Number 8, Berlin ball. Another combination in the middle.
They had the triple block up. They couldn't stop him. With moving their blockers around like that, they have to be really quick in transition. If Wisconsin-Milwaukee does get the ball past them, they have to switch to their normal positions and still run the play out. And IPFW is one of the quickest teams in the country, and that's why they can do that.
Ace by Papaleo. And you're right. They haven't stopped us in the middle yet. They've done a pretty nice job of getting a hand on the ball on the outside, but they've not been able to stop the middle yet.
Definitely. The combos in the middle attack. Raul's back there serving well. He's serving a lot more aggressive than he has in the past. And it's 2 aces back to back.
And Todd Lyons lost his confidence in passing right now, and that's just a real bad emotional state to be in back there when other teams serving at you.
Definitely.
11-5 here in game number 1. This first game of the MIVA series.
That was a great serve. Raul mixed it up and went short after going long 2 times in a row. And he really screwed their offense up there. So you notice their outside hitter, because the ball was served so short, he couldn't get in the position to hit and cost him hit the ball to bounce. So it's a great call by Coach Ball to serve short there, and great serve by Raul to execute Coach Ball's idea.
Mark Caratu back in the lineup. I'm sure Coach Freed is using that substitution as a form of a timeout, trying to break the concentration of IPFW, but Papaleo hits another short serve, and Zevers hits a long kill attempt.
That substitution will often break the momentum. I use it a lot as a coach myself, and I've seen it work many a time.
13-5, second timeout by Coach Freed and the Milwaukee Panthers. Tune in to Channel 6 tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. to watch the Kentucky State University Thoroughbreds take on the IPFW Lady Dons. Then at 8 o'clock, the Kentucky State Thoroughbreds meet the IPFW Mastodons. Catch all the action of IPFW basketball right here on Channel 6.
You know, we were talking a little bit earlier about all the coaches being Ball State grads. You know, that tells you a little something about Coach Shondell. You know, he's done a lot down at Ball State to get volleyball off the ground, not only in the Midwest but in this country, but especially in the Midwest. But now the torch, I feel, has been passed to Coach Ball, and he is doing a tremendous job. I mean, he's the innovator. Everything that's happened within the past 10 years is going to happen in the next 10, 15, 20 years. Coach Ball is going to be the initiator on it.
Well, I think, Neil, we're seeing a lot of that same kind of influence in the high school scene in the Fort Wayne area. And you talked about you coaching, and if you look at that high school area here in Fort Wayne, we've got a lot of IPFW grads, and I think we're going to see the same kind of thing we're seeing at this level, at the college level shortly too, with the number of graduates continuing to grow and move into those kind of positions.
It's a great block by Quentin Spiegel there. He really, that's what I mean by his penetration. He has such long arms and huge hands. He just reaches over and clamps anyone and everyone.
Papaleo will be serving for game number 1. He's going to go up.
Oh, Raul almost had that dig there. Didn't quite get it up.
Side out.
Like you were saying, with all the IPFW grads starting to coach high school, you know, we all come from Arnie's school of coaching, and I found myself doing a lot of things Coach Ball did.
Quentin Spiegel back.
There's the replay.
He's also going to go up.
In the middle of the court. Normal Gorham, the quiet storm right off his chest.
Overpass kill by Norman Amaldavar. Game number 1 goes to the IPFW Mastodons 15-5. We'll be right back for more MIVA volleyball action right after these brief messages.
Tom.
Some people still don't realize how space technology benefits everyone.
Well, you played a detective. Why don't you give him a clue and I'll be your helper?
Okay, partner, look at this.
Without warning, hurricanes can take a huge toll in lives and property.
But with space satellites, we now have ample warnings.
And thousands of lives have been saved.
Hey, Carol, we're a great team.
We're a great item.
Space technology.
This is what's in it for you.
Mental illness. We fear it. We laugh at it.
This guy's lost his
We scorn it.
Lost his wig.
We think it's shameful. But these are misunderstandings. Misunderstandings that will fade away if we see mental illness for what it really is. A medical disease. A disease that can be treated if you just know where to turn. For an informative booklet, call the American Mental Health Fund.
I believe that we can restore prosperity.
For over 40 years, the primary responsibility for shaping America's economic policies rested with the office of the president. To learn how these decisions are made and how they affect you, enroll in the Economics USA telecourse. It's an education for life.
Welcome back to the Hilliard Gate Sports Center on the campus of IPFW for this MIVA match. IPFW wins game number 1, 15-5. Neil, this is the first of 6 MIVA matches, with the one coming out number 1 during the regular season, getting the top seed in the MIVA tournament, and actually we're not sure where that's going to be held. Milwaukee was originally scheduled to host it, but as you mentioned, Mike Freed is a new coach this year and actually was hired during the middle of the year. Their ex-coach was also the women's coach, coached the women's season, and for whatever reason they made a change and they're not sure they want to host it. So there's a lot of discussion right now about where to host the MIVA. We are scheduled, obviously, to host the 1994 NCAA Final Four tournament, and we're hoping to host the MIVA tournament that same year, which is obviously an advantage for us.
I'm pretty sure that we are, aren't we?
That's the way we're scheduled right now.
Okay.
Now that could change depending on what happens here. That's right. But you know, we talked about Milwaukee coming out, and they're probably the growing program in the MIVA. Not to say that Ohio State and Ball State are going to drop down their level of play, but Milwaukee's got obviously the most room for growth. They're kind of at the stage where we were 5 or 6 or 7 years ago, and I see a lot of good things happening.
Well, the IPFW has to go undefeated again this year, just like we have in the past 2 seasons in the MIVA. Get that number 1 seed, because last year, if you noticed, I mean, I think we would have won anyhow in the championship. But when we played against Ohio State in the finals, they had just gone 5 games with Ball State the night before, and we had the easy match with Wisconsin-Milwaukee, so it was very easy for us to win that match, and therefore we were more rested for the Final Four. But if we finish 2nd or 3rd, then we have to play the tough team in the first round. It makes it more difficult the next night. IPFW looked pretty sharp that game, considering, you know, that they need to play consistent and not very emotional, and they looked like they were doing their game plan. Into the game now for IPFW's Spider, Craig Collins. He's a tremendous back row hitter, and he became a much better blocker towards the end of last year. And he's a great guy to play with on the court, as are all the IPFW players.
He's playing with a sore ankle, too. It'll be real interesting to see. You heard it down in Puerto Rico, played a little bit in the Ball State match, but had to come out and put ice on it. So it'll be interesting to see how he handles that. Number 4, Joe Lynch back to serve for
Pineapple
Panthers. Poor pass, but the ball's able to put it deep in the court for a side out.
Yeah, Craig, I talked to my old roommate Steve Simonson for the game, asked him about Craig's ankle. He told me that Craig was feeling a little bit better, so he should be able to play a little bit better tonight. Felt bad from the other night. He looked like he was in a lot of pain, and I know that feeling because I had a bad toe injury last year. Trying to play with it's just an incredible amount of pain. He's a little late on the block there.
Snupko with the kill, side out to the Panthers.
Craig's a little rusty right now, you know, because he hasn't played a whole lot because of the injury, and he was a little bit late on the block there. He's got to get up a little bit quicker and get on top of him. But he will. He's a great blocker when he's ready.
Overpass kill by Caratu, point for the Panthers.
Caratu's a good player out there. He's really playing consistent. I mean, he's been kind of silent out there, but he has a lot of kills at this point. Ball's up. Ball's out of bounds. Spiked out of bounds. It's close, though.
Catch by River Ball. It's long.
Wasn't a real good set by number 4, Joe Lynch. I think he wanted to set a little higher for that kind of a kill attempt.
Yeah, it's too deep. He's got to get it tighter to the 10-foot line.
Nice serve by Pepa. Nice dig by Pepa. Kill by number 15, Todd Lyon. Side out to the Panthers.
Todd Lyon's another player I remember playing against. Silent. Don't hear a lot about him, but he does a job out there. He's a consistent player. Nice pass by Raul. That's the Raul I know. It's perfect form.
And there you see a combination with Pepa coming in the back, but they call the ball long. I thought there was a touch at the net.
I did too. Jill Lyon, the line judge, she's also a setter for the girls volleyball team here, women's volleyball team here, and she said it was out with no touch, and she has a better view than we do, I think, right now.
Combination again, only this time Papaleo on the receiving end of that.
Number 8, Bob Erlenbaugh, was caught too far inside. Anytime the ball sits to the middle court, you have to stay out in the line, which is exactly where the ball was hit. He got caught too far inside. Papa saw it, and Papa spanked the ball right to that line. There's nothing they could do about it. Raul is a tremendous passer. I worked several camps with him this summer, watching him teach both girls and boys how to pass. And they have no idea what a lucky benefit it is to have him teach them how to pass. He's the best in the country. He also came and helped me out with my high school team.
Kill attempt by Lyon is wide. Point for IPFW, 2-1 Wisconsin, Milwaukee. Papaleo continues to serve.
Good serve. Peter was in the net on the tip down. He's arguing it now because he feels embarrassed, but he knows that he was in the net. It was obvious.
Side out, Snopko back to serve.
Kujak is going to be a big player for this team. I watched him in the fall, and he just has tremendous ability. And Coach Ball, just like he does every other player with tremendous ability. Spider-Man!
Looked like he's back on his game right there.
Yeah, that's the Spider-Man I know. I feel good for him. You could tell he was very happy. That's the first big play he's had this year. And I know it felt good to him. It felt good for me to watch him do that.
Collins back to serve. Serves into the net. Side out to the Panthers.
Spider-Man served on one in the net. Spider-Man's very inconsistent server. Sometimes he'll be the biggest acer on the team. He has the toughest serve to pass, but other times he'll serve the ball into the net and out of bounds.
Back to attack by Craig Collins.
There's the Spider-Man. He took off about a foot behind the line there. He was really flying there. Here comes the replay. Look where he takes off from. Bang. It was a tremendous shot by Craig.
Peter Kudiak back to serve for the Dons.
Raul's trying to pump Craig up there, but Craig's pretty pumped up as it is.
Peter serves it wide, side out to the Panthers. A lot of service errors again tonight, as we saw in the Ball State match.
I guarantee you this week in practice there will be a lot of breaks in between drills where Coach Ball will have them do nothing but serve, because come next week against Long Beach, they serve like this, they will have a very, very difficult time.
Little mistiming there between Relat and Ball. Ball not quite high enough. Side out, 3-1, the Panthers.
Ooh,
quick attack in the middle.
One thing you'll find in practice, I found it with my girls I coach and I myself as a player, when you're serving in practice, you tend to think of it as a rest and you don't take it very seriously, but you have to take serving seriously in practice if you're going to be effective in the game. Ball killed off of Raul.
Erlenbaugh off the block. Side out to the Panthers. Joe Lynch back to serve.
Right now they've got Snopko and Caratu both up there. This is a big front line for them. So look for the ball to be set to Snopko or Caratu every time. Erlenbaugh won't be much of a factor up there in the front row now.
Again, some miscommunication on the IPFW part.
Boy is going to look to set the ball wherever number 8 is for Milwaukee because he's their short blocker and you want to go away from him. I think Raul's front row right now, so he'll probably run Raul behind. Or Felipe behind on the back one. There it is. The weak blocker can't get over the net, tools him every time. You got to run the ball at number 8 because he's a small blocker.
And Pepa gets the kill down off the block.
Lloyd's great at, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Lloyd Ball back to serve.
Lloyd's great at seeing the other team and where their weak blockers are. Packed him right off his head. It's a great block by Raul.
4-2.
Papa's been doing a good job blocking tonight.
That's a great serve. I'm not sure it would have been in, but it was close enough that the Milwaukee player didn't have a choice. He couldn't handle it.
When Loy's serve is on, either from the ground or jump serving, it's very, very, very effective.
We saw that in the Stanford match last year down at Ball State.
You're reading my mind. I remember watching him serve game point in game 4, watching the jump serve just hit the floor for an ace, and adrenaline was flying through my veins. He jump served really tremendously that match.
Papaleo with the kill, 4-3. Excuse me, 4-4.
Great serve, short serve by Loy. Loy and Raul have been doing a good job short serving.
Raul with the block, but it's out of bounds. Side out to the Panthers.
He was tooled there. If we could see a replay, he really did a good job of turning his hands in, trying to block that ball, but just not enough.
Erlenbaugh serves.
Nice pass by Norman. It was a little bit of a low set by Loy, and Pete was a little bit late getting there.
Point to Milwaukee.
Raul and Norman have to pass the ball higher than any other team in the country because Loy's so much taller, so they want to pass the ball really high in the air to make Loy jump for it. Let's get a block here, Raul. Oh, tried to tool him, but Raul pulled his hands down and made him look bad. Great job, Raul.
Side out to the Volleyball. Felipe Relat back.
When Raul and Norman pass the ball high for Loy, it allows him to jump, makes him an offensive weapon, and the other teams have to put a blocker with him. It opens everything up for everybody else. Nice set by Loy. Spider-Man. Ooh, just missed. It's a great set by Loy. However, you would like for your setter to keep his body facing the outside. He had to turn to keep himself from hitting the net there. It's a tremendous athletic play.
Caratu back to serve.
Great set by Loy. Pete hit it a little bit high. Good
Kill
try
by
by
number
Norman.
8. Erlenbaugh. 6-4 the Panthers here in game number 2.
Norman just did a roll there, which is often seen in the women's game, more so than the men's game also, but he did a really good job of teaching that. So he's obviously good at doing it. Nice shot, cut him off guard.
Nice tip kill by Lyon, 7-4. Caratu back to serve.
Nice high pass. Nice hit by Raul. Here it comes. Get up, Craig. Block it. Nice up, Norman. That's great coverage by Norman on Volleyball. Norman made that play happen.
Zevers tried to tip that ball, but it's wide. Side out to IPFW.
Anytime the ball's tied on net like that, everyone has to drop down in defensive position immediately and expect the ball to come in. Just like Norman did, he made a great play.
Raul Papaleo back to serve. Oh, nice service ace.
Ruth dropped out of that one. Great serve.
He's had great control tonight on that serve. 7-5.
It's the best I've ever seen Raul serve. He's doing a great job tonight.
Poor pass, causing Caratu to try to get the ball in, and it's long.
And that poor pass you're talking about is caused by Raul's serve. You know, Raul has always been a good server, but it's always been the weakest part of his game, which is saying a lot because he's a great server. But he's really improved that. And now, I don't know if there's anybody better. Raul is a tremendous all-around player.
Side out to the Panthers. Dan Snopko back to serve.
If there were a pro league, he might be my #1 draft choice. I looked out, but Jill called it in, so I can't tell from up here. So
it is. We're in a tough angle for that one, so we'll take it. Side out to the Volleyball.
You know, this year I think Raul has to be the top senior in the country. I can't think of anybody better.
Double block at the net, Kuyak and ball, straight down. Point to the Dons, 7-7. I think you're right. I think there's a lot of interest in Raul from the national team level. And,
definitely.
As you said, he does a lot of things well.
Great set. Oh, Loy faked him out with that little move. It looked like he was going to hit. They bit it. Pete was wide open for the kill. Great job by Loy.
8-7, the Volleyball. I want to go back to Raul a little bit there, Neil. You know, it appears to me from sitting up here and watching him and knowing him off the court that he's just got to be a great teammate too. Just a great kid and builds you up and all those kind of things.
That's an understatement. Raul, you know, I loved all my teammates. Raul was really special for me though. Like this summer, we did a couple camps together, and we roomed together and we hung out, and I was always really close to him on the team. We have a lot in common. I love being around him. His girlfriend's tremendous, you know, hanging around both of them, and he's just a pleasure to be with on and off the court. He never, ever made me angry in any situation, and it's very common for players to get angry at each other on the same team. As anyone who plays sports knows that, even though you don't hold a grudge. Raul never made me angry. I've always loved him as a teammate. He's a great guy.
And I think at the upper levels, the Division I's and the pro levels and stuff, we often overlook that fact.
Yes.
That's an awful big part of what kind of player you are, is how well you get along with your teammates and the way you act on the court and those kind of things. So. Well, we're getting ready to start again. IPFW with that last point moves ahead 8-7. Craig Collins continues to serve.
Raul's really great with the fans, especially considering he's a shy guy. I know a lot of my girls on my team wanted to meet him and everything. He was happy to come into a practice, take time out of his schedule to do that. He'll sign autographs after the game. He'll talk to anyone, say hi. He's a great person to be around. He's a great role model for anybody looking to have a role model. That's touched. Nice up. Oh. I don't know about that, Patty. It looked like it was touched.
Patty said it didn't make it across the net, though. Point to Wisconsin, 8-8.
Patty knows her stuff, though. Her and Tom Pingle are the two best refs in the Midwest, and in my opinion, probably in the country. So, if she says it, it goes.
Craig Collins from the back row. Side out to the Dons. Peter Kuyak back to serve. Steve Simonson going to come in. It's good to see Steve play this year. He's worked real hard for a couple years, and he's finally getting a chance to.
This is my roommate, one of my closest best friends. He's a great player. He's a tremendous hustler. He has worked his way up on his team to get in the position he is now, and he has improved his game more than anybody I've ever seen. From the time he was a rookie here till now, he's improved his game 500%. He's a tremendous player now.
Schnapko, you see the replay off the block.
Steve's from Racine, Wisconsin, so a lot of these guys, he's played with them in high school, and he's got a special thing out to beat them, so, you know, he's going to play really hard.
Baldavar down the line. Side out to the Dons. Norman back to serve.
It's a great hit by Norman. Steve has a wrist injury right now. His wrist has been popping out of joint quite often, as a matter of fact, and he's playing with a lot of pain right now, but he's got a lot of heart, It's good to see him out there.
Norman's wide on the serve, side out. Joe Lynch back to serve. 8-8 here in game number 2. IPFW won the first game 15-5. They lead 1-0.
Raul's great at that, using the hands when sets tight or in any situation. Raul will turn something out of nothing every time.
Lloyd Ball back to serve. Junior out of Woodburn, Indiana.
Lloyd's just doing a tremendous job setting. He's running the team well this year too. Seems a lot more calm. He's settled down out there, and he's really got things together. Great set by Loy. Nice dig back there by Erlenbaugh. Looked like a touch to me. They got the tool.
They did. They called the touch.
When the ball's tight like that, you take it up, put it on the person's hands, and throw it out of bounds. You'll get a point. It's a great play. Boy just looked through the net there, saw number 15 being the weak blocker, and went at him on the backside. Set was a little bit tight for Felipe, but they were in the net, so we got a break there. Chad Blatchik's hurt tonight. Do you know what's wrong with him?
No, I don't. I don't know whether this is one of those cases where...
Actually, I heard it was his hip. My roommate told me earlier today. I forgot about it. Told me that his hip was hurting him, so he's not dressed tonight trying to heal up.
He heard it in practice?
I'm not sure exactly what he did. I'm sure it was in practice because against Ball State he was fine.
Yeah, he played well against Ball State.
Yeah. So he's probably just resting up so he'll be ready for the big matches next weekend. He comes in off the bench and gives the team a big spark. Plays a lot of motion. I like that.
We're a lot with the serve.
That ball was in.
Killed by number 14, Karatu. Side out.
Karatu's a machine over there tonight.
Score is 9-9 here.
They're neck and neck. Milwaukee, it's been a quiet game, but Milwaukee's been hanging tough the entire time. Karatu's about to get a break here. Looks like he needs it. He's been getting a lot of sets, jumping a lot. Needs to rest up.
Nick Monsalovic is into the lineup. Freshman out of Kudahai, Wisconsin.
It's kind of a funny looking jump serve, but it went over. Great kill by Pete Kudak.
Side out to the Dons. Raul back to serve.
Oh, that's a great serve by Raul. Just hung up there, hit him right in the chest. Perfect. Oh, it's over. It's taking away the set. What's the point? Can't do that. When the ball's on our side of the net, meaning IPFWs, the other team is not allowed to reach over and touch it until Loy has had a chance to set the ball.
Looks so tempting up there, though.
Yeah, I've done that a few times.
Service ace by Papaleo right down the line. Moves IPFW out to an 11-9 lead.
Ball caught the line there. Jill Lyon was right on top of it. She's a great line judge. She does a good job out there. She's always alert. Loy almost had it, but Snapper using those hands again. He uses the block every time and gets a lot of kills.
And Dan Snop goes back to serve. The ex-IPFW player.
Norm off of Eric Zver's face. It's a big hit.
Almost looked like a double combination there. Looked like there were two hitters going up together, and Norman came out of the back.
That's called a dome when you get the ball hit off the top of your head. I've had that happen to me several times. A lot of blockers spread their arms apart when blocking, which is the proper technique. But if you do that and you're a high jumper, you're going to get hit in the face a lot with the ball. Ball caught the line. There's that play again.
Backslide, right? That's right. IPFW still hasn't picked up on that, and it hasn't been.
They should have stopped that by now. I have a lot of mixed feelings about that play. I personally don't use it, but it works. And when it works, you got to be on top of it. You know, I've had discussions with my girlfriend, who's a setter, played for South Carolina, named Tammy Carell, and she likes that play a lot, and I don't. So we have a lot of arguments about whether it should be used or not.
Mark Merlett in for the Panthers. Nice way to use the block by Felipe Relat. Peter Kuyak back to serve.
Side out. Kuyak to serve.
Lloyd just up a little bit late, and that ball slipped down his chest. That's the worst feeling in the world. You think you have the block, and next thing you know, you look down, it's at your feet. Here comes Karatu back.
Tell you what, Coach Freed's using pretty much his whole bench, though. He's getting a lot of kids in.
Yeah.
A lot of good experience for these kids.
He's got a really small front row right now. IPFW should eat him up. Karatu's their only really big, strong player up there, so Lloyd's going to take advantage of that. Norm will go in a quiet storm. Look at that block. He's about 3 feet off the net. You can't block a ball from 3 feet off the net.
IPFW is still not real consistent with its passing tonight, though, is it, Neil?
Not as good as they need to be, but sometimes in certain matches when the tempo and the fans really are not as loud as they usually are, they're doing a good job being into the game tonight, but it's hard to be when IPFW is really in control of the match like this. Next weekend, I think the passing will improve as the level of competition
goes up.
Because the fans will be more into it, the team will be more focused, and everything will pick everything up a notch. Nice pass by Raul. Great height. Peter Kujak out of the back row. Spider-Man with the dig. All right.
Merlin out. It's ball wide.
IPFW is playing good defense right now, especially for earlier in the year. You'll see a lot of people out of position. I've seen Wisconsin-Milwaukee out of position several times, but Coach Ball has probably really drilled his players on defense, and that's why they're doing such a good job. They're in position a lot of the time. Paper with a big block.
Point IPFW, 12-9. Volleyball continues to serve.
Pape has really long arms too, just like Quentin. Those two are going to block a lot of balls because they have really long arms. Caught the line.
Joe Lyon calls it good.
I don't see much arguing from the bench, and they have a good view of it. The guys on the court aren't so sure, though. From up here, it looked like it hit the line.
13-9. Mike Freed takes a timeout. His second of this game, his fourth of the match. IPFW leads in this best-of-5 series, 1-0. You too can join in the excitement of IPFW athletics by participating in the Royal Dons Club. The Royal Dons Club is the official booster club for all IPFW athletic teams. Members enjoy priority seating at all IPFW sporting events, food and refreshments in the hospitality room, admission to IPFW sports media luncheons, and association with other Mastodon supporters, just to name a few benefits. For information on becoming a member of the Royal Dons Club, call Lisa Moreland at 481-6072. or write to Royal Dons Club, 2101 Coliseum Boulevard East, Fort Wayne, Indiana, 46805 1499.
It's a pretty good crowd tonight.
It's a real nice crowd, and they really want to get into the ball game, but as you mentioned a little while ago, the level of competition is not really allowing them to do that yet. Last week at the Ball State match, we saw an awful lot of volleying and those kind of things.
Definitely. I was a lot more into the match as a fan last week, and you know, as a player, when the fans are really into it against the high-level competition, it really picked me up, and it works like, wow, Spider-Man in paper, big block.
And Scott Lauer came in during that timeout for Loy Ball. You'll see Scott is running this team now.
He's the new setter. He's from Michigan. I heard a lot about him. He set me. I played in a couple scrimmages against the first team, helping out in practice, and he was my setter. He did a great job. He's a really good setter. Snopko using that block. Every time Dan hits, he finds those hands and he uses them to his advantage. He's really, really made himself into a great player. Scott's calling the offense to see what he runs here. He stepped under the net. He got his foot across the line. You're not allowed to step, but only half of your foot on the line. Once your whole foot crosses over that line, the referees will blow the whistle and it'll be a point or side out to the other team. The ball's in the corner.
Papaleo to the far corner. Good.
He's the master of that. He'll hit lines and corners in every place where the defense isn't.
Got to see Jason Stang in the line.
The Stangatang. Stangatang is about to get in. You hear an uproar from the crowd here. Stang, just like Steve Simonson, worked his way up here and has improved a lot. Oh, he comes in and hits Peter Kujak in the back of the head. He's a little bit nervous, but you know his teammates are going to pick him up because they like him a lot and they know he's a little bit nervous. He's going to come on here. Hopefully he'll get a play in before this game's over.
Well, I think Arnie kind of sprung it on him. I don't think he was quite ready to come into the lineup at this point in time.
I don't think he anticipated it at all. Great pass by the Stangatang outside of Papa. Boom. Stangatang with the dig, and his teammates over here on the bench are really getting it up for him. They're real happy.
He came in and played real well there after that first service error.
Yep.
Raul Papaleo back to serve for game number 2. IPFW leading 14-10.
Stangatang with another dig.
And the kill attempt is long. IPFW wins game number 2, 15-10, to take a 2-game lead. We'll be right back for more MIBA volleyball action right after these brief messages.
A lot of my friends have already retired. But I wasn't ready for that. So I'm still teaching. This time in Belize, Central America. I decided to join the Peace Corps. I love my kids. And the way I figure it, I have the rest of my life to play cards.
Peace Corps, the toughest job you'll ever love.
My hero, Isaiah Thomas, Kevin Costner, Mr. Wong.
These are teachers, but to the kids they've reached, they're heroes.
My hero, Mrs. Wooten. If I don't get through to that child, who knows, maybe no one else will.
Teachers have the power to wake up young minds, to be heroes, to make a difference. Reach for that power. Teach. Find out how by calling 1-800-45-TEACH. Be a teacher. Be a hero.
What comes to your mind when you think about mathematics? Clowns, street sweepers, the Red Sox, robots, the weather, earthquakes, Disney World, pineapples, conventions, parking tickets, fishing? If these practical applications of contemporary mathematics didn't make your list, you should watch public television's math series for all practical purposes.
Welcome back to the Hilliard Gate Sports Center. IPFW wins game number 1 15-5, wins game number 2 15-10. They lead this best of 5 match 2-0. What's Wisconsin-Milwaukee got to do now after being trailing here 2-0 in this match?
You know, from watching them play, I think they have to do a little bit of everything. I know that's a generic answer, but you know, it doesn't look like they're going to be able to pull anything out here because IPFW, as long as IPFW is playing their game, there's nothing Wisconsin-Milwaukee can do. If IPFW lets their play come down, Milwaukee is going to want to look to serving the weak passer. If they can do that, which is probably of the two, Raul and Norman, even though they're both great passers. If they can get Norman to fall apart, that's the key, because they can get our passing to fall apart, and the rest of the team will fall apart, and then they can try and pick up from that. But I don't think they're going to be able to do that because Norman and Raul are great passers, and the team's just on a roll right now.
Well, I saw IPFW play 3 times in Puerto Rico. Saw him play last week against Ball State, and obviously this is the 5th time I've seen him play this year. And it appears to me they almost feel like they can play to whatever level they have to play. You know, they can raise their level if they have to. We saw that in the Ball State after losing game number 2 last week and trailing 9-4 in game number 3. I saw that a number of times. In fact, in Puerto Rico, one match they were down 9-1 and came back to win the match 15-10. Wow. And then they shut out the same team the next game 15-0. So again, they're able to move their level up and down as they seem necessary, and that's got to be a real advantage. But as I said, you can't live with that when you go play teams like Long Beaches and Santa Barbaras and those kind of teams. You need to bring your level up and play at that level all the time.
That's always been a characteristic of our team. In the Final Four last year against Stanford, we really brought ourselves out of the dumps, and the crowd helped us. The crowd was a major difference. They helped bring us back, and we got ourselves together, and then. But then we also were capable of losing it. And a couple bad plays in that rally scoring game, and we lost the momentum again. So what they have to do is when they get that momentum, they have to learn to keep it better. But that's a hard thing to do. It's a lot easier said than done. Because I used to think about all the time, as a player out there, you know, to actually do it is a lot more difficult than to say it.
Well, it looks like Arnie's given a couple players a chance. We saw Steve Simonson. We saw Jason Stang. And here we're seeing Brad Preoditis in this ball game.
Oh, Brad's in the game. Brad's a rookie. He's a good outside hitter. He just got a dig there. Squirrel with the set outside the Spider. It's out of bounds.
Spider off the block.
Spider with the tool. You don't see that often from Craig. Craig's not a hand user. He's not a finesse player. He's all power. He'll come straight at you. And either he'll beat you or you'll beat him, but it's usually him beating you. Not Craig's strong point setting, but he's gotten a lot better at it. Beginning of his freshman year, he couldn't set the ball at all.
Little miscommunication on the part of Wisconsin-Milwaukee.
The reason for Craig's setting is he's had some problem with some fingers. He's dislocated almost all the fingers on his hand, as far as I know, and that really hinders his setting when he tries to set the ball.
Loy going to go up. IPFW leading 2-0.
It's a great serve. They couldn't handle it. Now it messes their offense up.
And Erlenbaugh hits it into the net. IPFW out to a quick 3-0 lead here.
For some of the fans out there that don't follow volleyball really in-depthly, when Loy serves a ball and they give a bad pass, it messes everything up for their team. They can't run their offense the way they want to. And when they pass the ball behind that white line, which is the 10-foot line, then all of a sudden the middle hitter can't attack the ball. They can't set the quick set. And now the blockers on the other side of the net can cheat whichever way they want to go. So it really messes up the other team and allows the other team to get more blocks and get set up better, and the defense behind the block can set up better, and it really hurts your chances when your team doesn't pass the ball. So if Loy can serve tough here, it's just going to destroy everything Wisconsin's trying to do. And Loy is very good at serving tough. That's another bad pass, takes the middle tackle away, they set the back set. Snopko has to hit it out of bounds.
But IPFW's in the net, so it's side out to Wisconsin-Milwaukee.
And that's not supposed to happen there. When you get a bad pass, the blockers have more time to get there and set up. They should not be in the net. So that was a bad play there. I don't know who was in it, but they're going to have to watch that in the future. His foot was on the line. There should have been a football call. Doesn't matter. Squirrel puts it away anyhow.
Pepa Relat. He's also going to go up.
Oh, that ball's out there. The girl on the line made another call, and Patty overruled her again. That's the second time this match has happened. That ball looked out to me. It looked clearly out to me. And I don't know what she saw, but she called it in.
Zevers back to serve for the Panthers. Great play by Craig Collins. That ball would have been out on the overpass, and he went up in the air and pushed that ball across.
However, I would like to say, and except for those 2 calls that Patty's overruled, the line judges have done a great job tonight. They haven't missed a call. Both of them have done a tremendous job. And IPFW needs more line judges like them. Oh, he's in the net.
Well, I think that that comment you made is true in every sport. It's easy to sit up here in the stands or sit up here on TV and say, that's a bad call. When you're down there in the play and that ball's going 90 miles an hour, it's a difficult thing to
definitely.
And you're right, they are doing a good job.
Plus, we have the benefit of having a few seconds to get in our mind whether the ball was in or out. They have to make the call on the spot.
Prioditis into the net. Point for Milwaukee, 4-1.
I know as a line judge, I never liked it. I got yelled at by a lot of people, so it wasn't too much fun. I tried never to do it.
Collins down the line, but it's wide.
It was out. She was on top of that call for sure, and that was a close call, so she made a great call there, keeping her eye on the ball and seeing that it was out.
Prioditis passing for Moldovar.
Squirrel with the big kill. Squirrel really reaches high. That ball was set. He hit that ball at about 10 feet, 5 inches, 6 inches. And, you know, he's a great jumper. I think he touched 11.7 or 11.8. And those of you know that the basketball hoop is 10 feet high, so that's skying.
Collins serves long.
Quentin's a tremendous basketball player, too. I play a lot with him in the offseason, and he could do some dunks that would amaze you. He's such a great jumper and has such long arms. Ooh, 6-pack. Zverev is hurting there. Wow, that's embarrassing when you get hit like that. Who hit that ball?
To Collins. Great.
Spider-Man.
Great
Spider-Man will do that to you.
And Quentin Spiegel back to serve. Serves it long.
Score after that big 6-pack. That's a momentum breaker. When you have the momentum, you got to keep that serving. But he went for a tough serve, which is what they need to do. But they need to keep him in more. They're missing too many. Paper reaching high, but the ball is a little bit too tight to the net, and Lloyd couldn't get a good set to him.
Nice
great
block by Prioditis.
It's a great block. That's how you're supposed to turn it in. Oh, ooh. Felipe was in the net there.
4-3.
We've had some number switches on the team this year. I see Felipe is wearing Tom Junkie's old number. I'm used to him wearing a number 1. So I was a bit confused. Wow.
Prioditis with the outside kill.
Brad hammered that one. I'm impressed with Brad. In the offseason, he was rusty at times. When he was on, he was playing great, but sometimes he'd have his problems. But since then, in the springs, what I've seen of him, he's really gotten his game together and become much more consistent.
It's into the net, though, on the serve. Side out to Wisconsin, Milwaukee.
I think I jinxed him there with a consistent remark, but he's gotten a lot better. When you're a rookie, it takes a lot of getting used to, especially this big environment with IPFW here. It's a lot of pressure, and it takes a while to adjust to it.
Quentin Spiegel from the back middle.
Squirrel on the white set. It's a pipe right down the middle. You run that, it's kind of like an X2, especially when you have someone that jumps like Quentin, it's like a combination. And he'll come right through there, and the blockers will go with the quick set, and he'll be wide open and spank it. Great pass by Squirrel. Back to Spider-Man.
Nice reach. 5-3 IPFW. Volleyball continues to serve. Looks like he's going to go up.
Ooh.
Overpass kill attempt is blocked by number 4, Joe Lynch.
Joe Lynch is the smallest player on the team. He might be the smallest starter in MIVA. I'm not sure. I have to check on that. And he just clamped an overpass. It's very difficult for a person getting that overpass, though, because you can't always see where the players on the other side of the net are, and you'll get blocked a lot. Felipe coming back for revenge, and he gets it.
Milwaukee in the net.
Papa's still angry over that overpass, and it paid off for that hit here, but now he's got to get rid of some of that anger and concentrate on the serve. You can't be angry when you're serving. You have to be focused.
He's going to go up.
Yeah, great dig by Felipe. He's obviously back in the game here. Spider-Man. Back in there in that corner. It's a great shot.
6-3 IPFW.
You know, Craig's fighting for a starting position here. And, you know, he was out for the fall season. He had to leave school for the fall. Now he's back, and now he's getting his game together. And once he gets on track, I don't see a reason why he can't be a starter again, especially playing the way he is tonight. That ball's in the corner. That should be in.
Raul's playing very well.
As usual.
He said, I didn't think he played very well against Ball State, and I thought he's really putting his game together tonight. So.
That's Papa. He's a very consistent player, and he, like I said, he has every shot in the book. Here, 2 up. Squirrels on top, but just couldn't turn it in.
Side out to the Panthers. Mark Caratu back to serve. Ooh, Spiegel in the middle.
It's a great set by Loy. Loy does a good job of catching the ball in his hands and setting it away from his body, just like he did on that last play. But that set was a little bit low, but considering the difficulty of the set, that's to be expected. Quentin did a great job of turning it into a kill.
Ooh! What a great block by Priaditis.
That's how you turn a block, and it's the second time in this game he's done it. The first time they covered it, that time it went down for a block. That's what Raul does so well. You probably picked that up from Raul. But turning your hands into the court, that's one thing you try and teach, but it's very difficult to teach. He did a great job on that block.
Timeout to the Panthers of Milwaukee. They trail 8-3 here.
Coach Ball's talking to him now. I think he's trying to...
We're going to go with Raul as player of the match. Raul will play of the match.
I think he's trying... I can't really tell what he's doing down there. I'm trying to read his lips down there, but it's hard to do from up here. But I'm sure he's pretty much just telling him, you know, stay consistent. He probably has some things he wants to work on this match, because in a match like this, when you have a big lead and you feel pretty comfortable, you try and experiment and work with things that you know you're going to want to do next week against Long Beach and Penn State. So he's probably working on some of those things, and that's why he has the starters out there now.
Well, and he's actually been able to go with about 8 deep, not including Chad Blatchley, and so that's got to be real important later on in the season when if you feel like you're comfortable with 9 players being able to come off 6 starters and 3 off the bench to play regularly. So
definitely, we here at IPFW, we've always had the number 1 or number 2 bench in the country, and well, and I shouldn't say always, but in the past, ever since I've been here. Before that, they basically had 6 players that did mostly everything, but we got some recruits, and Coach Wall does a great job recruiting, and since then he's had a tremendous bench.
Priaditis with the kill. Raul back to serve again. They lead 9-3. Milwaukee doing a little housekeeping down there.
Squirrel using the block. Raul with another tough serve there. You're seeing why he got picked as player of the match this year. You know, Raul is going to get a lot of honors and awards this year, I have a feeling, because a lot of it's politics. That was a great serve right on the line. That was a tremendous serve, Raul. That's the perfect serve.
And I think that's about his 4th service ace on the line. He's just right down that line.
It's amazing. He is one player that takes serving very seriously in practice, and it's paying off. It shows you here.
Jason Stang comes back in.
Stang-a-tang's back in.
Freed calls another timeout.
With Raul, like I said, he's going to get a lot of awards and honors this year. A lot of it deals with politics. The big names are always going to get a lot of awards and everything. That's because they usually deserve it. And Raul is going to get a lot this year because he deserves it, because he has a big name. He's a great player.
Tune in to Channel 6 tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. to watch the Kentucky State University Thoroughbreds take on the IPFW Lady Dons. Then at 8 o'clock, the Kentucky State Thoroughbreds meet the IPFW Mastodons. Catch all the action of IPFW basketball right here on Channel 6.
The basketball team's doing pretty well this year. I know that they've had a couple of tough losses against really good teams, but they were both very close games. So I'm looking forward to seeing how well they do this year. Raul's back to serve again here. Another great serve by Raul. Messes up their offense. Should have been a block there by Craig. He missed it. Ball's out of bounds. When Raul serves a great ball like that, Craig and Quentin have got to get out there, get set up, and clamp that, especially on a tight set. Lynch couldn't get to that ball. That's one of those passes I was talking about with Loy would be able to get up and set that because he's so tall, but Lynch is too short to set that ball. Great block. That's it, Squirrel. Squirrel reaches Squirrel, taking charge at the net.
2 in a row. Blocks 2 in a row there.
That boy Squirrel with his black shoes out there. He's a tremendous blocker when he gets hot. He can do it all.
That makes it 13-3 here in game number 3. Scott Netzel into the lineup. And we're going to see number 6, Nick.
And number 6, Nick
Mansulovic back in the lineup.
Snapper's getting down for a break. He's gotten a lot of sets. He needs a break too. He looks kind of worn out walking back to the bench now. He's a little frustrated with the score, which is understandable. But he played well tonight.
I thought he played real well tonight. Quentin Spiegel with a block again. Erlenbaugh with a kill, but it's dug. Papaleo from the back row, but it's long. Side out to the Panthers.
That seems to be the trend now. What Raul just did on the white set, the pipe set out of the middle back row. Whenever a team's in trouble, they throw that ball up to their best hitter in the middle back and just have him swing away. And a lot of teams are doing that now, and that was innovated by Coach Ball. That was his idea.
Nice serve by Lynch down the line, and we're going to see Kevin Mullersman in the lineup.
Coach Ball certainly is innovator. A lot of the strategies you see are his ideas, originals. Spider-Man into the antenna. He'll do that a lot because he swings away with a lot of power and he'll make mistakes like that. But more often than not, he'll get the kill.
Well, I'll tell you what though, Neil, that's pretty refreshing after a few years ago when I felt like all we'd ever do was dink up there. You like to see that guy go up and really hit the ball, even if there's a blocker there, because as you said, Arnie says the block is your friend, and I think he believes that 75% of the time that the ball is going to go out of bounds off the block.
Definitely.
And so, as you mentioned earlier, try to tool that ball off the hands and use it. And Collins does a good job of just going up there and wailing away. He's getting a little bit of a lecture right now.
The block certainly is your homie, is your buddy. I mean, every time you go up, you're in trouble and you try and use it. But like you said, with Craig, it's nice to see them swing away. Everybody on this team, we don't have any dinkers. That's the difference between us and Ball State. They're a very finesse team, and that's why they do well against us. We have much more talent than they do. But most teams in the country play that power ball, which is the way volleyball should be played. However, they're successful because they're the one team that doesn't. And it throws other teams off guard. They get dug in waiting for the hard spike, and then they have a lot of control volleyball, and it'll throw you off. Plus, they play great defense. That's Ball State's key to their success. And Shondell, that's his strategy. It always has been in his work for him.
Joe Lynch continues to serve for the Panthers. Prioditis with the kill from the outside.
Brad with another one.
Set assist by Scott Lauer.
Kevin Fire Marshal Bill Mullersman's in the game. I didn't see that. He's a good player. He's gotten a lot better from last year. He's a powerful hitter out of the middle. So let's see if he gets a set here from Scott. Let's see what he can spank one down for us. Oh, Fire Marshal almost had a block there. Scott put up a good one, but it went out of bounds.
Erlenbaugh back to serve for the Panthers. 13-5 here in game number 3. Kill by Collins out of the back row.
Great hammer by Spider. Craig's I'm really happy for him this game. You know, it was a close pick in my mind between him and Raul for player of the game because Craig's played really well, but Raul has just been, the steady force for them tonight. But Craig has had a great match, and it's nice to see him back. He's back, definitely.
Well, we talked about all the things Raul can do, and Craig has certainly been a real asset to this team, but I don't think you can ever minimize the effect that Raul Papaleo has on the overall game.
Never. It was a great hammer by Raul. Craig had a great dig on the play before that. They're going to set him. The Fire Marshal down with the kill. Now earlier you had said, about the tipping. Every once in a while it'll come in handy. When the team's dug in, that's what Ball State's very successful with it. You want to tip, just like you did there. Threw him off guard, the middle of the court was wide open. It's a great play. It's a great play by Kevin to see that. But you shouldn't tip all the time. Only by spiking the ball hard time after time, it sets the tip up for you. Because then the teams dig in when it's open. They're a little bit confused there. Someone's out of rotation here. Whose serve is it?
Well, they apparently IPFW was out of rotation on the last play.
That's what happens when you make a lot of subs. Sometimes guys come in the game and they're confused. They have to be with it. That makes a coach very angry when he puts you in the game and you don't know where you're going. I know it's happened to me a couple times. So you know, you've got to pay attention while you're on that bench, so when you go in the game, you know where you're going to be at.
So the score remains at 13-5. Kill attempts long by Collins.
Scott's got to get that ball a little bit closer for Craig, because Craig's such a leaper. He likes to float into the ball. That ball was set about 12 feet back from the net. You want to set it about 8 feet back from the net so Craig can really lay into the ball when he hits it. It was a bad set. That's why Craig hit it out of bounds. But Scott's a great setter.
Well, plus it's got to make a difference if you change setters in the middle of the match, doesn't it?
That's the set Craig needs right there. You see how much closer it was? It was about 3-4 feet closer, and Craig was able to really lay into the ball. And that's why he was able to hit it in bounds.
Brad Prioditis back to serve. 13-6.
It's off the block.
Side out to the Panthers.
See, Wisconsin-Milwaukee's following IPFW's lead on being an innovator with that, and they're setting that white set when they get in trouble. Just throw the ball up to the middle back player and let him swing away.
Nice serve.
Still a great pass
nice
by Raul.
dig by Papaleo.
Any other passer in the country wouldn't have even got to that ball.
And he gets the kill.
All world. That's why he's player of the game. That's why he's player of the year. That's why he's player of the world. He just makes great plays happen every time after time again. He and Lloyd can do some amazing things out there that just leave you in shock sometimes. And Norman. And everyone. Quentin, Craig, Felipe. Everyone. Papaleo with a block.
Papaleo.
What can he do?
14-6. Scott Lauer to serve for match point.
I think Clinton better watch out in 96 because we might put Papa in office because he can do everything. He could reduce this deficit we have.
Lauer's going to go up.
He got faked out there, but the ball was so tight, he had to go up with that in case the setter were to tip. And since the setter's front row, it forces you to jump there with the block. And when that happens, if the setter's smart, he'll set the ball back like Joe did there, and it was a great play, and they got the kill.
Papaleo through the block.
Pulling the block. Can't say enough about him. He's the man.
Boy, Papaleo's got to have a pretty good percentage hitting tonight, doesn't he? I don't remember very many hitting errors, nor do I remember many digs off of him.
I'm going to look forward to seeing the stats after the match. I'm sure he has phenomenal stats this match. This is game point. See ya. Fire Marshal putting the game away.
And Collins get the block.
It's a great block. Kevin came in, played really well. All the guys off the bench came in and did a really tremendous job, considering they must have been nervous.
Well, and you mentioned it, Neil, that it's real important in a match like this where you actually have a fairly sizable lead. You've got to take advantage to get those players in, but they've got to come in and do the job, and I think they did that tonight. I think that was a real advantage. So IPFW wins the match 3-0, 15-5, 15-10, and 15-6. Neil, you're going to head down to the floor and try to talk to our player of the game, Raul Papaleo. And I'll stay here with you for a little while to give you a few stats. We may take a short break before we get down there, but you're going to head down, and we'll talk to you down on the floor then.
Okay.
I'd like to remind you that tomorrow night on Channel 6, 6 p.m., the Kentucky State University Thoroughbreds take on the IPFW Lady Dons, and then at 8 o'clock, the Kentucky State Thoroughbreds meet the IPFW Mastodons. Catch all the NCAA men's and women's basketball action here on Channel 6. IPFW playing very well tonight. I thought they came out a little bit slow, sluggish, but as we talked about, that's often true when you're playing to the level of competition. In Milwaukee, played a very good match, but struggled for a while. We'll be right back for more MIVA volleyball action right after these brief messages.
Vince, come on, we're late. This headbanging is more fun than going through a windshield.
Good night from Iron Maiden. Drive home safe. Remember to strap yourselves in with your safety belts. You don't want to end up like Eddie. Belt up. Don't be a dummy.
Bonjour. French in Action, opening a new era in language learning. A television course in 52 lessons centers around a wonderful romantic comedy filmed entirely on location in France. The story of Mireille, Robert, Marie-Laure, and the mysterious man in black will help you to learn, to understand,
Excusez-moi.
and to speak French. Watch French in Action.
After dating the guy forever, you think I could tell him anything. Why is this so hard? I'm really scared.
It takes a lot of guts to tell someone he's too drunk to drive. But you can do it. Just say it. Because if you don't, there may be nothing left to say.
Kevin, I'm gonna drive.
Take the keys, call a cab, take a stand. Friends don't let friends drive drunk. This is just one of the many parts you can play as a young Red Cross volunteer. Volunteer and play your part.
Welcome back to the Hilliard Gate Sports Center. After tonight's big MIVA match between the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee Panthers and the IPFW Volleyball, we at IPFW are pleased to be able to bring you cablecast of an NCAA athletic competition. We hope you've enjoyed the show and the excitement of intercollegiate sports from IPFW. To provide such programs, we need your support. With the help of many volunteers, we're able to produce these programs at a relatively low cost. Your contribution will help defray the production costs not covered by the Channel 6 budget. The College Cable Access Center invites you to invest in quality college programming by sending your contribution to the College Cable Access Center at IPFW, 2101 Coliseum Boulevard East, Fort Wayne, Indiana, 46805-1499. Please make your check out to the Indiana-Purdue Foundation at Fort Wayne and designate it for College Cable Access Athletics. Again, we had a great match tonight. We're getting ready to go down to the floor where my colleague Neil Day has player of the game, Raul Papaleo, with him. On your screen you see the scores, 15-5, 15-10, and 15-6. We're ready to go down to the floor, and Neil with Raul.
Hello everybody, we're back here at IPFW Multipurpose Center with Raul Papaleo, the player of the game. Raul had 6 aces tonight. Well, actually it was 5 in the stat books, but I counted 6. So we're going to give him 6 aces. Raul, were you working hard on serving this week in practice? Is that what helped you get all those aces?
Definitely. I've been practicing real hard on my serving because I thought my serving was kind of weak. So I worked on that all week, and I think I've improved my serving. I'm taking a couple steps back and hitting the ball really hard, and I think that was the difference tonight.
Okay. Going into tonight's match, what was the team's attitude going into the match, playing Wisconsin-Milwaukee, knowing they just came off a close 5-game match with Ohio State at Ohio State?
Yeah, we still look at Wisconsin like a inferior team compared to us, but they went in 5 games with Ohio State, so we took that as a point to play them hard. And Coach mentioned that. He said that they were a better team this year, and we just came out and played hard because we knew that we were going to come out and play hard, so we just did a good job.
Okay, your stats tonight were very well rounded. What I have here is you hit 500, you had 14 kills off 24 attempts with only 4 errors. Now, you know, every last part of your game is really tremendous. What do you think you need to work on the most this year?
I'm always trying to keep my errors low. I try to keep the ball and play as much as I can. I think I have to work on my blocking because I haven't been blocking as many balls as I'd like to. I think blocking and serving are the things I've been working on.
Okay, a lot of fans out there know that you're a senior, and in my opinion, the best senior in the country. They want to know what you're going to do when you get done here. And I know there's been some pro teams in contact with you in Puerto Rico. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, some of the teams that contact me, they're from back at home in Puerto Rico. I still don't know what I'm going to do. I'm just trying to concentrate on this season and do as good as I can. And after May, then I'll decide what I'm going to do. I'll probably go and play beach, or I'll probably go back home and play into one of those pro teams back at home.
Well, you're a tremendous player, a tremendous person. I love watching you play. I love playing with you, and I love hanging out with you. So you did a good job tonight, and good luck the rest of the year.
Thank you.
Dan, back up.
Again, recapping the score, IPFW wins its first MIVA match of the year to go 2-0 and 1-0 in the MIVA. They win by scores of 15-5, 15-10, 15-6. And we'd like to take this opportunity to thank the Channel 6 volunteer crew and the Learning Resource Center at IPFW for their contributions to the live production of our volleyball game this evening. This telecast of this IPFW sporting event is copyrighted and the sole property of the College Cable Access Center at IPFW. Unauthorized copying, exhibition, retransmission, rebroadcast, or other use of this event without express written consent is strictly prohibited. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow to Channel 6 at 6 and 8 p.m. to see the Kentucky State University take on IPFW. For Neil Day, this is Dan Gebhardt. Goodbye for